design of hydrodynamic journal bearing by using Raymonde and Boyd method. Learning objective. Objective of the today's session is design a hydrodynamic journal bearing using Raymonde and Boyd method. In earlier sessions, you will find to solve the Reynolds equation, Raymonde and Boyd analytically or studied, they found out the solution of Reynolds equation, and they provided us some of the charts and tables in the form of non-dimensional parameters or variables. By using these variables, today we are going to solve the problems. This is the main objective today, design a hydrodynamic bearing. Again, in earlier session, we have seen, I would like to recall some of the things that means important design parameters. It is L by D ratio, then minimum fluid film thickness, then radial clearance, then bearing pressure, then starting load. All these are the the important design parameters. And designer, he has to assume or select some of the parameters while designing this hydrodynamic journal bearing. Now today we will see some problem. One problem I have taken solve problem from Bandari's book, and another problem that is I have framed. But in this another problem, what we have to do, we have to use the interpolation. Now let us start from this simple problem. Now the problem statement is here. The following data is given for 360-degree hydrodynamic bearing. 360 means it's a full bearing. Try to understand, because in hydrodynamic bearing we have seen some partial bearings also. Partial means the 120 degree, 180 degree bearings. So just to give the support to the shafts or the journal, it's a open bearing. But here data is given for 360 degree, that means full hydrodynamic journal. Now here in data, the radial load is given 3.2 kilonewton, journal speed is given 1490 rpm, it's in revolution per minute. In journal diameter 50 mm, bearing length again 50 mm, radial clearance is also given 0.05 mm, and viscosity of the lubricant which is used for this bearing 25 centipoise. Assuming that the total heat generated in the bearing, which is equal to heat carried by the total oil flow in the bearing. This is the assumption. That means how much is heat generated inside the bearing is it's carried by the total oil flow in the bearing. And based on this data, what we have to do, find out the coefficient of friction, power lost in friction, minimum oil film thickness, which is required to give the support to this load, then flow requirement, and again it's liter per minute, and temperature rise. Again, in earlier session, we have seen the hydrodynamic journal bearing using Raymonde and Boyd method. That time we have seen the different expressions of different, the non-dimensional parameters and variables. That equations or variables we are going to use in our today's problems. Now let us start. Given data. So what is given? Try to understand. The load is given, which is acting 3.2 kilonewton. Speed is given 1490 rpm. Diameter of the bearing and length of the bearing is given. So from that length and this, what you will get? You will get L by D ratio. L by D. This is important one, because based on that we are going to decide if L by D ratio is greater than 1, then long bearing. When it's less than 1, it's a short bearing. Now here L by D, L is 50 mm, D is equal to 50. So you will get 1. Then C, clear as 0.05. Then Z is not Z mu, that is viscosity 25 Cp. Now, first of all, what you have to do, we have to find out the bearing pressure. Again, in earlier session, we have seen how to find out bearing pressure. That is load upon L into D. LD means area, the projected area of the bearing. So W is given 3.2 kilonewton. So 3.2 into 1000 upon L and D 50 mm. You can substitute here. So you will get bearing pressure 1.28 Newton per mm square. Again, important thing, last time we have seen to find out the the Sommerfeld number. Sommerfeld number expresses actually the load carrying capacity of hydrodynamic journal bearing. In this case also, what we have to do, we have to find out the Sommerfeld number. Again, to use this Raymonde and Boyd chart, we should know the L by D ratio or eccentricity ratio or Sommerfeld number. Then and then we can select some of the parameters related to that L by D from the chart. Now let us find out the Sommerfeld number. Now here in this case, you will find Sommerfeld number S is equal to R by C bracket square into minus by P. Again, R by C is also a dimensionless parameter, and minus by P is the bearing characteristics number. It is also a dimensionless parameter. R is given here. The diameter is 50. You will get R25. C clearance is given 0.05 mm. You can substitute here. Mu is also given. It's in centipoise. What you have to do, convert that centipoise. Again, for centipoise, you know the conversion already you studied in fluid mechanics into 10 raised to minus 9. Right? Then that's why 25 upon 10 raised to 9. Then ns speed, again it is in rpm, but here in Summerfield number this speed is in rps, divided by 60, 1490 by 60. Then what's about this p? P is the bearing pressure that we already calculated. Substitute this value, you will get yes. The Summerfield number is equal to 0.121. Now you have calculated bearing pressure, which is required to calculate the Summerfield number. Now we have a Summerfield number and L by D ratio is equal to 1. So what we have to do? Now we have to refer the Raimondi and Boyd chart. And here in while designing the bearing also, many times we have to refer in sliding contact bearing, we have to refer this chart to get the other parameters. Now how to refer it? Let us see. We have S is equal to 0.121 and this. Now I have here. This is the chart which is provided by Raimondi and Boyd, and we are going to use it. And all these are the dimensionless performance parameters. Already last time also I have told you. Now here in first column you will find L by D, that is infinity 1, again here 1 by 2, 1 by 4. Then this epsilon means eccentricity ratio, which is having relation with C and E eccentricity and the clearance. Is it eccentricity ratio? Then H0 by C is the fluid film thickness parameter, S is the Summerfield number, phi is the attitude angle, R by C is the flow coefficient of friction variable CFV, Q by RC NLS flow variable, Q by S to find out the side leakage. And again this parameter P by P max helps us to get the maximum pressure inside develop in the bearing. By using these parameters we can find out the other required, the bearing performance parameter. Now let us see. Already we have calculated here S is equal to 0.121 and L by D is equal to 1. So what you have to do? L by D is equal to 1. First of all, locate L by D is equal to 1. But in L by D is equal to 1, you have a, the number of options, that is for eccentricity ratio. Then yes, look at this, yes, this Summerfield numbers. But for L by D, as per our calculation, we have S is equal to 0.121. So from L by D 1, locate 0.121. Sometimes what would happen here while referring the chart, you will find this calculated value of Summerfield number maybe lie in between these two values. That time what you have to do? You have to use the interpolation. And if you are going to use interpolation for Summerfield number, similarly you have to do the interpolation for all these parameters also. In second problem, I will explain that. Now here L by D 1 and calculated value of Summerfield number 0.121. So what we have to do? By referring this S, now you have to take out this value of all the variables or parameters. Now look at this. For this 0.121 S and L by D is equal to 1, the H0 by C is film thickness parameter, that is H0 by C is equal to 0.4. Similarly, R by C into F, this means CFV, that is 3.22. Then Q upon RC and LS, this is the flow variable, 4.33. So what you have to do, you can note down R by C into F is equal to 3.22, Q upon RC and LS NS into L is equal to 4.33, QS upon Q is equal to this, and P upon P max is equal to this. By referring this chart, you have to note down all these variables. After noting down here, look, come to this. From table, I have noted H0 by C is equal to 0.4. Look at this. It's a 0.4 for this value. L by D1, S is equal to 0.121 and H0 by C is equal to 4. Similarly, you have to note down all the variables. H0 by C 0.4, R by C into F 3.22. Look at this here. It's a 3.22. Similarly, Q by R C endless 4.33. 4.33. I have noted all these values of these variables or flow variables, then CFV, then film thickness variable from the Raimondi and Boyd chart or a table. Once you have all these values, we can easily find out the other parameters. Now let us see how to find out. Now in the problem statement, they ask us to find out the coefficient of friction. The coefficient of friction, how to find out? By using this. Now here R by C into F. F is the coefficient of friction is equal to 3.22. But here problem statement at radius of the bearing is given 25 mm. C clearance is also given 0.05 mm. You can substitute these values here, R and C. So what you will get here? F. Therefore, F is equal to 0.00644. This is your final answer, coefficient of friction. And again, in earlier sessions, we have seen, or in during Maggie's investigation or Petrov's equation, also helpful to find the value of coefficient of friction. During that time, I have also told the Petrov equation, which is not applicable nowadays for the practically, but it helps us to get these parameters associated with the friction. Again, yeah, which helps to find out the frictional power, frictional torque. That's why this coefficient of friction plays important role. Now let us find out the second parameter, that is power lost in friction. How to find out? Again, we know that last time we have seen this expression also. F in this W into R is the F into R means torque is multiplied by F means frictional torque and multiplied by this omega means that is power in kilowatt. That's why it is divided by 10 raised to 6. Therefore, frictional power is equal to 2 pi ns into F into W into R upon 10 raised to 6. W is given, that is 3.2 kilonewton. Then R radius is also given. Then ns speed is given. Then everything is given and F already here calculated from the chart. You can substitute F here. After substituting this value, what you have to do? Find out the power lost in friction. Here you will get the power lost in friction 0.08 kilowatt. It's in kilowatt. The next parameter what we have to find out, that is asked in problem statement, that is minimum oil film thickness HO. Again, here you will find from the table, we have written this variable H0 by C here. H0 by C is equal to 0.4 for the S and L by D. The H0 is equal to 0.4 into H0 is equal to 0.4 into C. So what is C? Clearance 0.05, which is given. So you can multiply here 0.02 mm. The minimum fluid film thickness which is required for this bearing, that is 0.02 mm. Then flow requirement. But in this case, what care you have to take? It is not asked whether it is in centimeter cube per second or mm cube per second. But in problem statement, it is mentioned find out liter per minute. So you have to take the care here while converging the units. Now here again for a flow requirement, this variable Q upon RC and LS flow variable, that is equal to 4.3. Again, we have taken or selected from the chart for the values of Summerfield number and L by 2. Again, by using this, what you will get Q is equal to 4.33 multiplied RC and S into L. Here, look at this. R radius 25 mm, C 0.05, NS is given. Again, it is in second. So you divide by 60 and length of the bearing, that is 50. You can substitute. So you will get the value of Q, that is 6720.5 mm cube per second. But we have to convert it into, say, now here it is converted in centimeter cube. That's why multiplied by 10 raised to 5 cc, that is centimeter cube by second. Again convert it into liter. Therefore multiplied by 10 raised to minus 3 will get liter per second. But again here, what we have to do? We have to convert it into liter per minute. That's why multiplied by 60. So what you will get here? 6720.5 into 10 raised to minus 6 into 60. That is liter per minute. After calculation, you will get the flow of lubricant which is required for this bearing, that is 0.403 liter per minute. In this way, we can calculate the flow requirement. The next point, temperature rise. Again, in earlier session, we have seen heat generated is equal to heat which is carried by the oil or a lubricant. The heat generated is nothing but it's a frictional power loss. That's why the KWF is equal to heat carried by, that is mCp delta T. And by substituting the value of m in terms of rho into V, already we have derived this expression, and then you will get the value of this delta T is equal to 8.3 into P into Cp upon Fv. Again, this is the standard equation by assuming, that is specific gravity of the oil is equal to 0.86. Substituting these values here, delta T is equal to this expression, 8.3 into P into Cp upon Ap. That is coefficient flow variable and flow variable. And again, these values we have taken from the chart 3.2 and 4.33. You will get it. This is flow variable 4.33, and here friction CFV, that is 3.22. You can substitute here. P already calculated. So you will get delta T. That means rise in temperature, that is 7.9 degrees Celsius. This is how we can solve the problem simply by using Raimond and Boyd chart. here. And while designing the hydrodynamic bearing also, so you have to make some assumption by assuming some parameters, and the same procedure you have to follow to obtain. It will guide you how much is the the supply that lubricant oil is required, everything which is associated with the flow. Then how much is the side leakage? In this statement, side leakage is not asked, but even though you can calculate Qs upon Q is equal to this. So this variable Qs upon Q is equal to 0.680, but Q already we have calculated here. How much is the Q? This you can substitute this value of Q 6720 here Qs upon Q. This you will get the side leakage also. Similarly, you can find P upon P max also. That means by using these variables, we can easily find out the other parameters also. Now, let us see problem 2, and it's very important. Sometimes, so what would happen? The value of the Summerfield number or eccentricity ratio is not directly you will find in the Ramandy and Boyd chart or a table. That time, what you have to do? Always you have to go for a linear interpolation. So now in this problem, a 360-degree hydrodynamic bearing operates under the following condition. This is the statement. Then radial load is given 5 kilonewton. Try to understand this problem is very important. You have to give more attention to this problem. Journal speed is given 1440 rpm. Then unit bearing pressure is also given 500 kilopascal. Clearance ratio is given. R by C 800. Then viscosity of the lubricant is also given 35 millipascal second. It's a millipascal. If it's a mega M is the capital one, If it's a small m, it's a milli. Assuming that the total heat generated, again the same assumption, calculate dimensions of the bearing that we have to find out, means L by D, or L and length of the bearing and D, then coefficient of friction, then power lost in friction, total flow of oil and temperature rise. These parameters we have to find out. How to find out it again? Now you have a guidelines from problem 1. The same method we are going to use here by using Ramandy and Boyd chart. Let us see. Now here, write down the given data. Now here in given data, you will find load is given, speed is given, power pressure is also given, bearing pressure, then R by C, mu viscosity is given, and dimensions. Now in this case, important thing is dimensions of the bearing is not given. Sometimes what will happen, listen please. Now in this case, viscosity of the lubricant given. Instead of giving this lubricant, they may provide you the chart in which in one row or one column you will find the temperature and other in the viscosity. And what you have to do, first of all, you have to decide the which viscosity and which temperature which is applicable to the bearing. Accordingly, you can do the trial and errors while using that values while designing the bearings also. Now in this case, L by D ratio is not given, or length of bearing is not given, diameter of the bearing is not given. So what you have to do? In earlier session, I have already told if bearing L by D is greater than 1 or less than 1, whether a short bearing or a long bearing. And if we don't know, so you have to assume L by D is equal to 1 or less than 1. So now assuming L by D is equal to 1. It's a square bearing. That means length L is equal to maybe 50, D 50 or 100, but ratio, it's a square type bearing. Now here, write down this bit. Pressure is given 500 kilopascal. The convert into pascal multiplied by 4 kilo means 1000. Then again here, it's a pascal. The pascal is converted into megapascal means Newton per mm square. That is 10 raised to minus 6. So you will get pressure is equal to 0.5 Newton per mm square. Try to understand this conversion. Then again, we know that the pressure is equal to load upon the projected area, bearing pressure. Projected area means L into D, but we have assumed L by D is equal to 1. That means this L is also is equal to D or D is equal to L. You can substitute any value, no problem. The P is equal to W upon, suppose L is equal to D because L by D is equal to 1, we have assumed. So you will get W by D square. So what you have to do? W, we know that here in the problem statement 5 kilonewton is given. 5, not say 50, right on a 5. The 5 into 10, 1000 upon D square. So you will get D square. The D square is equal to how much you will get? 100. The L is equal to 100. Why? L by D is equal to 1. That means by assuming L by D is equal to 1, we tried to calculate here. L is equal to 100, the dimensions of the bearing. Now let us see here. The L is equal to 100 mm and diameter is also 100 mm. Now next point. So what we have to do? Again here the viscosity which is given in 35 millipascal second. Yeah, convert it into pascal second in milli, that's why multiplied by 10 raised to minus 3. Again here, the mega here. So again, into 10 raised to minus 6 and minus 3 minus 9 megapascal second. So you will get here 35 into 10 raised to minus 9 Newton second per mm square. This is the viscosity. So what you have to do, the next step, I discussed in earlier problem, that is find out Sommerfeld number. The Sommerfeld number is equal to R by C bracket square into minus by P. R by C is given direct in statement. You will find here in statement 800. You can put here 800 bracket square into again mu into ns, that is 1440 by 60 upon p, that is 0.5 already calculated. So you will get s is equal to 1.0752. Now what we have to do, L by D is equal to 1 and s is equal to 1.0752. So what do I have to do? Refer the Riemannian and Boyd chart or a table. Come to this variable parameters or performance parameters. L by D is equal to 1. Now let us see, find out the S. How much? 1.0752. Now here 1.0752, it's not directly available in S Sommerfeld number. Look at this. So here you will find this value of 1.0752. It lies in between 0.631 and 1.33. Here, the value, it is in between these two values. That means what you have to do, you have to go for a linear interpolation. Try to understand. And similarly, while taking the values of this CFP variable, flow variable, or side leakage and here, film thickness variable, so what you have to do, again here also you have to find out the linear, you have to do the linear interpolation to find out the value of this. Because if yes, Sommerfeld number lies in between these two values, that means R by C into F, this friction CFV, coefficient friction variable, also going to lie in between two values. Then flow variable also going to lie in between two values. That means we have to do linear interpolation for all these performance parameters or dimensionless parameters. Now let us see L by D1, it lies in between this, and how to carry out this linear interpolation I will explain here. Try to understand. Again, important one thing here you will find, if you are going to note here from the Riemannian and Boyd chart, this value, that is the eccentricity ratio, it is in between 0.1 to 0.2. That means bearing operates at a very low load condition if eccentricity is very, very less. And actually in earlier session, I have told the eccentricity should be greater than 0.2 and up to the 0.65. Point greater than 0.3, less than 0.65. If it is going to increase, that means there may be possibility direct contact between the journal and the bearing. So looking to this value also, you will get the idea. It operates at low eccentricity. That means low load. The bearing is having a more capacity to take the load. You will get idea from this. Let us see how to use this. Now let us see. Dimensionless performance parameters are obtained by linear interpolation. How to do this? For that purpose, what you have to do? It's nothing but this. What you have to do? Linear interpolation is nothing but we have to apply the equation of a line, and these are the coordinates. Now this coordinate, this coordinate, we have to find these points. Suppose x1, x2, x3, or x1, y1, x2, y2. We have to find out x3, y3. The slope equation we can apply directly here to get the values of this simple fundamentals that is used in linear interpolation. Now let us see what we have to do. First of all, find out the CFP variable, CFP coefficient of friction variable. So for that purpose, one y-axis RC, R by C into F, which is drawn, and x-axis S, because we are going to select the value from the Sommerfeld number. Now here you will find this Sommerfeld number or our value, that is 0.1752, 1.0752. It lies in between these two values. We have to look at first of all this limiting minimum value and maximum value. And in between this, look at this, minimum 0.631, then maximum 1.33, and in between here 1.75. That we have to look at. But for this 0.631 here, what is R by C F or CFP variable? Look at this. 0.631, it is 12.8, and 1.33, it is 26.4. So locate here these values, 12.8 and 26.4. So what we have to do for this S 1.752, we have to find out this R by C into F variable. This value we have to find out. And for that purpose, what we have to do? We have to carry out the linear interpolation. So now here I have written by linear interpolation R by C into F is equal to, now here 12.8 plus the difference of this 26.4 minus 12.8 here minus here, it's not a minus, it's plus 1 point. Now here 1.752 to 1 point here minimum first 0.631 and then difference of again 1.33 max to up to this the value to be calculated, that is 0.631. That means what you have to do, 1.752 minus 0.631 and then 1.3 through minus 0.631. This is interpolation. Already you studied many times. You have used this in the NMA also you studied already many times. You have used this interpolation. So what you have to do, find out R by C. So you will get R by C into F 21.44. Once you will get this value, so what you have to do, the R by C into F is equal to 21.44. So find out this F. How to find out F? Therefore, F is equal to this 21.44 multiplied by C. R by C, you have to send towards this side, the C by R. The C by R here. So you can find out F is equal to 21.44 into C by R. And again, R by C is given, that is a ratio 800, but C by R means 1 by 800. You can substitute here. Already given in the problem this ratio. And multiplying here, you will get F, that is coefficient of friction 0.0268. In this way, by using linear interpolation, we can find out the coefficient of friction or this parameter. Let us find out the Q. Now here, once you the coefficient of friction, it's very easy to find out the power lost in friction because which depends on the CFP variable. Now here, again, power lost in friction, that is in kilowatt, 2 pi NSCF into WR upon 10 raised to 6. So you can substitute all the values. W is given, R, that is we have calculated 100, that means 50 mm. Then you have coefficient of friction calculated in by using this linear interpolation. In SPD is given, again it's in second, that's why divide by 60. You can substitute all these values and here you will get the power lost in friction, that is 1.0134. Then let us see, find out the total flow of oil in bearing. That means we have to find out the flow variable, and flow variable means Q upon RC NS into L. Look at this in the chart. This flow variable Q upon RC and LS. Again here, because of this S lies in between this value of this flow variable Q upon RC and LS. It is also going to lie in between 3.37 and 3.59. Look at this. In this case, the value of this flow variable as the the value of S decreases, the flow is going to increase, but friction is going to decrease. Now here, for this flow variable, again on y-axis, locate the point, that is 3.37 and 3.59, that is Q upon RC and LS, and again the S 0.631 and 1.3, and you will find here, look at this, as the S increases, Q is going to decrease. Q is going to decrease. And because of that here, instead of adding here, what is used here? Subtractance, minus sign is used. Again, you can find out the slope as usual, the fundamentals of mathematics, even though you will get the correct idea. Now we have these two coordinates of this point, we have to find out the coordinates of these points. For y2 minus y1 upon x2 minus x1 is equal to slope of that. Even though by using that expression also you will get this coordinate, no problem. Now here, by using linear interpolation, we can find out the S is equal to this 1.0752, the value of this flow variable, that is Q upon RC and LS here. Now here, again apply by linear interpolation, again 3.59 minus in bracket 3.59 minus 3.37 multiplied by this. Again, the same thing that you have to do, the 1.752 minus 0.631 upon 1.33, 0.631. Again, this value is 0.22 and this value is 0.442. So you will get Q by RCNLS is equal to 3.45. Now here you have this flow variable Q upon RCNLS is equal to 3. That means when you don't have the direct value from the chart, that time you have to use the interpolation, try to understand. That's why I have framed this problem. Now let us, how to find out the Q. Once you know this Q upon this value, which is this flow variable is equal to this. The arrange is Q is equal to 3.450 into RC and LS. So what you will get? 3.450 into R50 C. Again 50 is C here. So what is R by C ratio is given here. So you can substitute that 50 upon the 800. NS is again 1440 by 16. L is the 100. Again you will get to 5875. Why this is 50 by 800? Because in problem statement, the ratio, look at this here. R by C is equal to 800 is given and R is equal to 500, 50 mm. That's why this value is substituted here, 50 by 800. By substituting all these values, what you will get? Q. The Q is equal to, you will get 25,875 mm cube per second. And therefore, next point, very simple, find out the temperature rise. Again, same expression, 8.3 P. Now, in this expression, it is assumed that the density, that is, the 0.86. But sometimes lubricant, the density may be given. That time, instead of doing this, you can go for the expression in terms of a rho, 8.3 into P into say P upon A. Substitute all these values, you will get temperature rise, that is 25.79. Thank you. I have referred, the problem on and the charts which are taken from U. Vendari's book, Design of Machine Elements. If you have any query, please contact me. This is my WhatsApp number 9890426679 or mail me at pvkushave@kkwap.edu.in. If you have any problem or a questions related to this, so 3 minutes remaining from the session, so we will discuss your questions also. If you have any question, you please ask me.
सर तेच 360 डिग्री होता बेअरिंगचा तर ते 120 किंवा 180 असलं तर काय होईल
120 180 डिग्री असल्यावरती अर्धे पोर्शन त्याचा ओपन राहील वरच्या बाजूची बेरिंग आणि बेरिंग फक्त खालच्या बाजूला राहील आणि इट गिव्स जस्ट सपोर्ट टू द बेरिंग शाफ्ट ऑर ए जर्नल and it's a open one. This is one thing. Second thing, even though you provided cover to that cover just prevents the dust and other particles, but it will not help to generate pressure and other things. And generally such bearings are preferred in low power transmission or such applications. And
okay, sir.
data. This data is not applicable because whatever the data I have referred here from Raimondi and chart, which is applicable for 360 degree. Again, that data, again, you have to refer the data of 120 degree bearing or 180 degree bearing. Yes.
Okay, sir.
If you have any query, you can ask me, no problem. We have 2 minutes time. So I hope, as per my knowledge, I have covered all the points and topics which are related to all the units 4, 5, and 6. But even though in the next weeks or you please tell me, I will arrange one session which is related to your project work. And some of the students already mailed me, that their calculations. Even though I would like to give some guidelines, general guidelines about your, the design project, that is design of gearbox. The next week I will arrange such a one session about that topic. And even though you have any query related to that, you please ask me. कोणाला काही प्रॉब्लेम असेल तर विचारा, प्रोजेक्ट बद्दल विचारा, बेरिंग बद्दल विचारा. And I hope you have submitted your, all the assignments. If radial clearance is not given, so there is any standard value of it. Yes, Omkar, I am answering your question. If radial clearance is not given, so there is any standard value for it. Yes, in last session, we have seen for radial clearance also, there is a standard empirical relation. If it's not given, you have to assume it. And I have covered that part in design variables or its selection. And you please refer my, the video, that is sliding contact bearing part 3. You will get the idea about this radial clearance. If minimum, how much should be the minimum